Hey, hello investors and future investors. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tim, and on this channel, I show you how I'm using my portfolio in order to generate weekly income. For today's video, I'm going to show you how I use my portfolio in order to generate $500, and this is done as passively as can be. Welcome to Investment Gains. Let's jump right into it. So welcome back, future investors. And once again, I'm going to show you how my portfolio did for the month of July. Now, if you guys need any help with options, please check the link in the description below. So as you guys know, my portfolio is divided into three categories. The first category is my growth stocks, which I use just to grow, and I do sell eventual covered calls in order to generate additional income while the stocks are appreciating in value. The second part of my portfolio consists of dividend paying stocks. This is what I call the set it and forget it strategy. I invest in these dividend paying stocks on a weekly basis with the funds I receive from trading options, then the money I receive from the dividends are just reinvested to purchase more. Now, the third part of my portfolio, which is the most exciting part of the portfolio and the part I love the most, is my options trading part of my portfolio. This is exciting, and although it's passive, I just love doing it. So, for today's video, I'm going to showcase how my option portfolio is giving me money on a monthly basis in order for me to continue growing my portfolio. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead into my spreadsheet so I could show you guys all of my trades for the month of July. Okay, so here we are on my Excel spreadsheet. I'm gonna set a couple ground rules. Ground rule number one is that on this channel, I only sell options in order to generate revenue. I do not do the buying of any options. So every single option strategy generates revenue and helps me grow my portfolio. Ground rule number two is that I close all my option contracts. I do not allow anything to expire. I've had bad experiences about letting my options go until expiration, and I'm not willing to do that again. Now, ground rule number three, which is the most important ground rule, is that if I can do this, you can do this. So let's go ahead. Okay, so here we are on my Excel spreadsheet, and I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of the spreadsheet and how it works. So pretty straightforward. It's going to be the opening date. Next is going to be the closing date. We're going to have the ticker symbol that I'm using, and we're also going to have the strategy that I'm using. Now, I'm just going to give you a few. PCS stands for put credit spread. IC stands for iron condor, and CC would stand for covered calls. There are a couple more strategies, and you're going to see it as we go along. Now, like I mentioned earlier, all these strategies are geared towards getting revenue. Now, the next column, which is the quantity column, shows the amount of contracts in which I'm selling, and the column right after that, that says filled, shows you the premium I'm receiving for these contracts. Now, like I just mentioned, I close every single option contract, so this should have the amount I paid to close it, but I'm working on that. No one's perfect. And here you're going to see the collateral column. Now the collateral is being used over and over. So for instance, if you see me use $1,600 collateral, I may use that same collateral again down here or a second time. So it's not a different $1,600. It's the same money just being used over and over again in order to keep generating premium. Now, under the P&L column, you're going to see it says the actual amount that I'm making whenever I sell these option contracts and my gains. Now, these gains here are pretty high, and I will explain to you why these gains are high in just a second. And then here we're going to see our losses or our gains. And here we have my goal for the entire month. Now, the gains and the losses. The reason why these gains and losses are so high is because these are almost 0 days to expiration contracts. I do open a contract on one day and I close them off the next day. And that just generates high premium, but this is extremely risky. Once again, feel free to use whatever strategy that works for you. Now, as we all know, the month of July has been rocky to say the least. And as you can see here, I do have a couple of losses. So I did lose $1,000 here. I lost another $600 here, another 780 here, and it does not add up to 2693. So there are a bit more losses. So what happened is that I mixed the 2 weeks, which is week one and week two together in order to save time. So the other loss to add up to the 2693, that's going to come from the loss I had in the second week, which is going to be 248. So just to total, I had one loss in week two, and I had a total of three losses in week one. Now, the total overall premium I generated for that week is going to be $1,800. But my net would turn out to be, for the 2 weeks, turns out to be negative $880. Now, like I mentioned, July was a very rocky month, as everyone that's in the stock market can realize. So people just need to be honest with themselves and transparent and keep moving. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to week three. But right before I go to week three, I did mention there are some other strategies that help me generate weekly income. And this here is a leaps option strategy, and then here is what we call a roll. Now, the leaps option contract is when you're able to control 100 shares by paying a lot less than what you'd pay if you actually bought the shares outright. So I do have a couple leaps in the portfolio. Now here it says roll. Roll means that my initial covered call, which you see right here, may have been in trouble, or I had an opportunity to generate even more premium, which in this case, I did have the opportunity to generate more premium. So as you can see here, I generated an additional $15. Now the column here says 0 because I still use the exact same collateral. So once again, there are several different option strategies that anyone could use in order to generate weekly premium. The most important thing to do is make sure you learn these strategies, stick to a strategy until you're good at it, and just keep using it over and over again. Rinse, repeat, you cannot go wrong. So moving right into week three. Okay, so here we are in week three, and as you guys can see here, I picked up a lot of leaps. The reason why I picked up so many leaps is because the stock market absolutely tanked. So I did lose a couple $1,000s, but I was able to capitalize on the market. I picked up leaps at a very, very good price, and now I'm gonna be able to make continuous revenue until I sell it, of course, in order to keep growing my portfolio. So my total gain for the third week in July is gonna be $1,529. So guys, imagine this. Imagine I had no losses. So this would have been $1,500 for week three plus $1,800 for week one and two. I mean, that is as passive as it gets with by making so much revenue. Now, this is still within the month of July, and once again, the market was extremely volatile and I had some losses. I did have $1,000 loss here and also a $340 loss here. So when we subtract that from my total gain, we're gonna be left with for week three a positive of $189. So right now I'm still in the negative because as you guys can see, week one and two generated a negative 880 and week three gave me a positive 189. So moving into the last week of July. So right before I go into the results of week 4 of July, I would like to let you guys know, please like and subscribe to the video. And if there's anyone out there you think can benefit from using these strategies and want to be part of the weekly income team, feel free to share this video with them. That being said, let's go to week 4 and see how we did overall. So for week 4 of July, as you guys can see here, I made a total of $1,200 and zero losses. So the market did start to coming to the end of July. So I was able to capitalize. And as you guys noticed as well, I was able to change up my strategies. Okay, so the total for week 4 is pretty straightforward. It's going to be $1,200. Now, I know you guys want to know exactly how much I did for the total month of July. So remember, if you guys have any questions about options trading or if there's any video you guys want me to know, I'm extremely transparent. Please let me know in the description below. Now, the total I made for the whole month of Rocky July is going to be $509. So although I was up to a very bad start for the first week in July, I kept at it. I changed my strategy based on the market conditions. I always take what the market gives me, and I was able to come out ahead. So from my June video, I made $1,700 in profit. Now in July, it's up $509. So I'm up about $2,300 for the year, even in a rocky market. So guys, I make this video just to show, most importantly, that there are income generating strategies out there. You do not need to gamble with your portfolio. And I also made these videos to show you guys that if I can do it, you guys can do it. Now, I would like to thank you for watching once again and like and subscribe to the channel for more. Now, right before you go, I do have two videos right here that's going to be able to help you as part of the weekly income team. Feel free to click on any one of them. And until the next video, keep pushing your investments.